welcome back to City Planner Plays, where we are taking part in the 5 Builders 1 City collaboration. And in the previous episode, we built the Manitou Woods camping grounds. And I'm a little dubious about the name. I might just make it the campground, so the Manitou Woods campground. But we built this area and brought it to 5 stars. So I'm very excited about the way that this turned out. We also built some support facilities, and today we are going to build some factories. But before we get there, there are a couple things happening in this city that are a little problematic in my mind, and some of them are issues that I created myself. So the first one is right here. You see that there's quite a bit of traffic backup coming here onto the interstate. I think we can resolve some of this fairly simply. So part of this is our lanes we're having a lot of switching occurring. And so what I'm going to do is add another lane onto the highway here. We'll need Anarchy on to make this work. Now let's look at our lane configuration. So this isn't perfect because of the distance. This is a really short distance in between this exit and this exit. So it's a little bit of a challenge. We might need to do some reconfiguration if we can't figure this out. So I do allow some weaving movements in there. We'll see if that helps. Next, I noticed that there's kind of a weird situation happening here, where some trucks are merging at the end. So I just want to add a point of emphasis that you can switch right there, but once you're here, you're going the direction that you chose. You've committed to a direction and you have to go with it. And we'll do the exact same thing here. That is weird. I think that might have been just the result of me changing a couple of things. Hopefully. So the other thing is we have a signalized intersection here. I think we're going to have a yield sign there and allow through traffic here. And hopefully that'll fix things. I think we also should probably have a stop sign here. Yeah, right now, or maybe we'll do a yield. Right now this traffic is just kind of cutting off the through movement, which is the movement that we want to prioritize. So same thing here. Let's have a yield. Now I want to speed this up for a minute. Let's take a look and see what happens. I missed one. We have another one over here doing the exact same thing, and I do not want this happening. So now we have that yield here. And I might actually make this 2 lanes going in and have it merge, because this is a pretty significant movement. That got a little bit ugly right here, so let's just ramp the whole thing. And then finally, we'll add an extra lane here. This is not proper lane mathematics, but it might function okay. Yeah, and I think that it's going to function really well. So that's good. You can kind of see things are still backing up here. Whoa, not just a little bit, backing up a lot. I'm trying to see. It looks like there are some vehicles looping back around, and I just want to make sure it's not coming from the highway. And that is not great. So what I think we might want to do here is actually have a roundabout. So that's what we're going to do. And the reason I'm focusing on this so much is because I want to add some of the factories over here. So when we look at our factories, so this is our unique factories. We have 11 available to us. And I'm going to place 5 of them. And I'm going to concentrate on the ones that would fit most over in this area by Manitou Shores. But I might also add another one over here near the petroleum industry. And I also noticed the problem with the petroleum industry, and we're going to fix that as well. But let's focus first on the issues that I've created, because I don't want to leave anyone else with this mess to deal with. So we're going to pause this for a second because we're going to do some significant work in this area. So first, I just want an intersection here so that I can use my roundabout builder. Going to eliminate all of this madness. Okay, so now we have an aerial roundabout, and I think that this is going to be a much better configuration for us and will allow us to have a much better entryway onto the highway. Okay, we got to make some adjustments. I inadvertently used the wrong sort of road here. Okay, that is much, much, much better. My only fear is that this roundabout's not quite large enough. Yeah, it's not quite right. I'm going to redo this one more time. Yeah, that's much better because now I can have a slightly better angle coming into the roundabout, which I think is really important if we want to ensure that it's a fairly gradual movement into the roundabout, which is something that I am very interested in. I'm going to try my best not to use any eminent domain to install this roundabout. Ooh, that is really short. I'm going to improve both of those if I can. We might need to take out one house to make this work. Unfortunately, I'm very sorry for the loss of your property. So, that said, it's very necessary to get this right. Now, I remember when I initially built this, there were lots of concerns about the directionality of my ramps. And I see that I have some of that right now. I'm not going to forget it this time. I've learned my lesson. So, now I want to check the heights here. Yeah, we've got some problems. Okay, so I wanted to rebuild this because I do want there to be a pillar. And what I was noticing is that I didn't have a pillar. And that's a pretty significant span in my estimation to not have any sort of support. And I'm going to take all of my snap twos except for angle off so that I can place the pillar wherever it fits. Unfortunately, I think I'm starting to understand why this pillar wasn't there. Let's turn anarchy on. Maybe I can just finesse this a little bit. Yeah, that stinks. Okay, so maybe one of our concerns is that the roundabout is at a height where it's making it impossible for me to actually do what I need to do with the train tracks. I'm going to lower this just a little bit. Let's see if that helps at all. We also have this very ugly, ugly bridge. So, lots of little issues. But I think this is a critical thing to get right in here. Yeah, this is just kind of ugly. So the fact that we're looping around this now is kind of creating some of these problems that we're having. And there's not really, short of pulling this around and kind of wrapping it here. I mean, this is the shortest span. So this would be the best in terms of heights. Maybe we just need to be okay with this being a little bit slower going across. Now we'll turn on our road guidelines so that we can line this up. Okay, so I have a feeling there's not going to be a whole lot of love for what I just did. But I think it was necessary. We're going to have to fix some of these crazy slopes. Okay, let's see what this does. We're also going to have some power issues, and we need to look at those as well. I believe, anyway. Yeah, we should have some power issues. Okay, so hopefully this fixes everything. It's not ideal, but I do think that we have a better configuration. Now, the one issue that I'm seeing is I did not allow enough lanes in this roundabout. Let's upgrade these to have 3 lanes through here. I'm also noticing some general wonkiness with this exit here, so we're going to rebuild that. Okay, and our directionality looks good. I just want to let this run for a minute to see if our traffic starts to dissipate. So I'm already noticing one thing that's making me a little bit uncomfortable, and that is the amount of pedestrian traffic going through the roundabout. You can see it's kind of all over the place. I'm also noticing, I don't have my roundabout configured. Let's get that configured. And then maybe having a pedestrian ramp over the highway would be a benefit here. Truthfully, though, with the grades, an underpass might work. I just don't like them. So I've explained in some of my videos in my series why I dislike the underpasses, and basically it's because they're, in my mind, a facility that's great for some users, i.e. men, able-bodied individuals who aren't uncomfortable in underground facilities. But for women, children, people who are disabled, they can be a challenging place to be. They can pose safety concerns, and as a result, I try to not build them. This is the exact same thing I would recommend in my day job. I wouldn't. I try to avoid recommending or building any of these underpasses. That is, not overpasses. They're fine. They're just very expensive. And I think we're going to want to put a fence here as well, just to keep people off from the highway. Let's check out the height here. I think this is just good enough. Okay, so now that we have that, I think that we should be okay to eliminate pedestrian movements on here. Although, truthfully, it looks like it's not as big of a problem as maybe it was before. Let's make sure that this other roundabout is configured as well. This one is okay. We just have a lot of vehicles coming out of here. Interesting. So we had some weather. I wanted to get rid of that. That's much better. No more weather. And there are still some backups here. Now, there are some reasons that this could be occurring. You know, having the dual lanes here could be a problem. Just want to make sure. So this is configured correctly. Well, let's just let this go for a little while and see if this is an improvement or not. This is just the challenging area. There's a lot of loading going on here, but you can already see that it's significantly improving the traffic on the interstate. Our traffic flow is a little better. It's not perfect by any means. There's still a lot of traffic that's coming back here. I just don't understand why there's all of these fish trucks back here. It's kind of weird. So having a slip lane might help as well. That could be, because you can see that this is a tough turn to make. You can't make it very quickly. I wonder if we just add one of those in. Okay, so what I've tried to do here is make a little bit more efficient of a movement. So it would obviously be quite a bit easier to come through here with a through movement. You wouldn't have to make that sharp 90 to get through here. So I think that this would be a very, very significant improvement. If we did this on every single movement throughout this roundabout, I think it would be a very, very good thing, but also a very, very time-consuming one. And I don't know that I want to implement that everywhere if it isn't necessary. So I'm just kind of taking a look at these and noticing other potential issues. There are vehicles that are stopping. That's why. Okay, so I think this will slowly begin to improve. We could have a few more of these upgraded. Merge lanes if need be. Wow, just all of this fish traffic just spawning at this supermarket over here. Interesting. That is wild. Maybe there's one more thing we could do to improve things over here. See, all of these vehicles are merging. There's no real need to merge in this particular location. So I'm getting pretty putsy here, but I think that is going to see some of these vehicles enter, and that's a big improvement. That's good. And while we're making improvements to this roundabout, we might as well just keep going. Okay, so I've made a lot of lane adjustments in this area in an effort to streamline the traffic flow. I could solidify this with the lane marking tool, but I don't want to get into that level of detail right now. I just want to demonstrate that we're able to make this flow a little bit more efficiently with just a couple of changes. So we are forcing all of this traffic into a turn. I don't love that. Okay, so we've made a lot of adjustments, but I think things are flowing a little bit better. Some back up here, but that was kind of to be expected with all of the train traffic in this area. So that's good. I like that. That is, well, let's see what traffic looks like. Bad. In fact, it looks a little worse. I don't know if that is our fault here, though. There's some slowdown here, but I think it's a little better than it was. I wonder where we're getting all this backup. Are there any places where it's just stopping? Here's one. See a bunch of movements through here. This is certainly one of the more challenging segments, though. And one could make a case for one more roundabout right here. That, or considering this a collector and having one-way movements through here. I just don't love that because in my mind, doing that really, I mean, it forces all this traffic to go past this cargo train terminal, which I don't think is all that desirable. It's certainly a way that we could try to fix this, though. I wonder. So I'm sure that there will be a lot of dislike for what I just did. But I do think that this might help, so long as we have enough lanes through here. It is a very, very small roundabout, though. And when you look, things are already starting to clear up. So that little roundabout made a huge difference. All right, well, the triple roundabout. I'm really kicking it up to the next level with the roundabouts. I like it. I think it makes a ton of sense. In some cases where you want to maintain traffic flow, it makes perfect sense to have roundabouts that allow traffic to continuously flow rather than having them stop at a stop sign or stop at a signalized intersection. This would be a preferable solution. So to make this look a little bit more realistic, I think what you'd see is you'd have fill brought in around here, and this wouldn't be entirely a bridge. Portions of it would be, but most of it wouldn't be. That said, we're gonna leave it as is. It's functioning, it's fine, and we're gonna just be happy with it. The one thing we're not gonna be just happy with is that curve there. That was pretty steep. Ooh, little bumping there. One more issue. Yeah, there are some crazy things happening here. Much better. Okay, so I'm gonna stop. I find myself just getting a little bit crazy with this. We're at 77% traffic flow. Things aren't stopping here, so I think that I've at least made some improvements that are worthwhile in this area. And the more improvements that I make, the more I'm gonna break this area. So let's just leave it alone and go to our next. Oh. All right. Deathcare. Here we are again. So let's take a look. We've got bodies piling up. Almost 700 dead people. So I think a big part of that is we've relied on a lot of cemeteries. So I am going to place a few crematoriums. So in the area that we built in my first episode, we didn't place any crematoriums. We also missed zoning in this area, this cul-de-sac. So I think I am going to add that back here. But yeah, there are large portions of the city that do not have Deathcare. Let's just go through here and add some Deathcare again and hope that that fixes things. So this new neighborhood over here, Garland Heights, has no Deathcare, so that's probably one of the issue areas. I think just outside of this collector, we're going to add in some Deathcare, use a little bit of eminent domain, or we'll look at it this way. We'll say that these people sold their home for conversion into this facility. Unfortunately, I have anarchy on, and as a result, I'm having some issues with overlapping. Now that I have anarchy off, I can't actually place the building. Awesome. Okay, so we have that there. See if there are any other areas. Yeah, there's a lot of areas that just have no Deathcare at this point. So let's see what's over here. So I placed this on this road if it were upgraded, but I might again convert a home into a crematorium. And I'm going to try to get as close to this local that meets up with the collectors as is humanly possible, because we want to have all the benefits of the collector without gumming it up. So we also have problems over here. So as we've expanded, you can see that there are just more and more of these issues cropping up. So this is on a collector. I hate that. No, this is not going to work. That was a mistake. So lots of eminent domain for Deathcare. Just so people want to live next to a crematorium, but it's necessary, so we will put it there. So I think we could also sneak one over here by our helicopter depot. These folks are probably dying from all the sound anyway, so might as well make sure that we have some coverage there. In fact, now that I'm looking at this, let's make sure that there's a reason to have this helicopter depot. And this will act as a sound buffer It'll act as a incompatible use buffer, because I don't think that people would love living next to these railroad tracks and their nice expensive homes on the water, but they would like living next to a forest. And I think it fits well because we have that forestry industry over here. So I'm gonna just take one more look. It looks like things are coming under control. There are certainly some other issues. We have this Park Heights over here, which again has no coverage. Elk Hills has no coverage. Oh boy. Okay, let's just take a look at our zoning. And I want to get this centrally located, so I think we're going to put this right over here. And we need one on the other side of Elk Hills as well. So let's see where we might be able to finagle one in here. So I'm leaning towards taking down a house here. This is an arterial that becomes a local road. So if we add it there, we'll at least get the benefits of the arterial. This is going to be used as an arterial because of some of the movements happening here. So it might as well get the benefit, I guess. So the coverage in this area is still not good. We could probably use one more. And I noticed that we have roads with medians over here, which makes this a less than ideal place to add these in. In fact, this is probably the best place. And I know that that road is there for a different reason, but, well, actually, it'll be fine. They can turn around at any of these roads. So we're going to sneak that in back there. Hopefully, I've added enough Deathcare at this point to have coverage all over the place. Even in Manitou, our coverage is kind of weak in the middle. And if there's any place to sneak this in, it's by the highway. So I think that that's what we're going to do. And now we have good coverage there. So-so coverage there. No coverage in some of these industrial areas. Poor coverage in Geneva. So again, let's take a look in Geneva. Is there any place that we could add this in? I think replacing some of these smaller lot homes would be ideal, if at all possible. There are some missing buildings here. I can tell that they're missing because I didn't leave the zoning kind of just wide open like that. So I'll add some Deathcare and hopefully that helps out some. You can see that we've rebounded entirely on all of our RCI needs, so we'll leave that for Biffa. Hopefully that leaves him in a good place. And I still haven't done what I wanted to today, which is focus on adding a factory or 2 or 5. So let's do that. So I was thinking that there are 2 areas over here that would be ideal for factories. Number 1, this field right here, it has good highway access. You have access right here. It has good access to the cargo rail terminal. And there are 2 population centers within close proximity. This population center would have educated workers. This would have blue-collar workers and underwater workers. So we have things happening. Ooh, I can't see that. I can't unsee this. Okay, hopefully once this floods, it is fixed. And now we have a nice little shoreline there, so, benefits. We'll reset that to terrain height, and that should fix everything. In fact, might do that in a couple more areas where I just fix things. See these buildings go up just ever so slightly, and that ever so slightly should be enough to make this work. Okay, much better. No more flooding. I need to do what I wanted to do. I'm just getting sidetracked with all these other things. So we're going to pause this for a moment because we are going to take down some electrical lines and potentially cause some issues here. So let's look at our factories. So we have our paper factory. So first of all, the industries that we have easy access to at this location are ores, and that's about it. Ores, and we also have steel. So I think that we want to make sure that whatever we're building over here has close has those materials within them. And anything else really needs to be on the other side of town. So the electronics factory is one that could come over here. That would be one that would make some sense. You need metals, which we have. Glass and plastic, which we don't. Let's see. So the soft paper factory, not a good candidate. The car factory, I'd say that this is a very good candidate. So we have metals over here. Food factory, not a good candidate. Sneaker factory, no. Modular house factory, that would be another one that would fit over here well. We at least have metals. And the ores we're turning into glass, so it's really metals and glass if we have the two of those. The shipyard, in my mind, probably makes more sense than almost anything else. Having that over here would seem to be an ideal location for it. The problem is we're going to need to reroute this local road if we add it over here, and we're going to need to make some more connections in this area. So what I think we're going to go with, first we're going to reroute this local road. I'm going to place some of these buildings, and then we will build the support facilities around them. So we are going to build our shipyard right here. We're going to have a modular home factory, which I think would fit in really well into this area. So this is functioning as an arterial, so we're not going to have it right off that road. We're going to reroute this road since we're making a bunch of changes to this area anyway. And basically what I'm trying to do here is prioritize this through movement. This road is functioning as an arterial, and in fact we might solidify that and actually create a highway out of this. Then use our industrial roads coming in here. Move this just a little bit. Now I want to make sure that the angle I have coming into this road is a 90 if at all possible. And now this movement is prioritized over the movement around here that was prioritized before. So I think that's really important because now we could do something a little bit more with this road. So I don't like having local roads teeing into collectors, or local roads teeing into arterials. Functionally, these are probably all going to act as kind of collectors because of the amount of industrial traffic. So I'm not going to be as concerned about it in this particular area. So we have our modular home factory here, and I wanted to scoot that over so that I could add another side road. And on that road, we are going to have some of our building materials getting shipped in here. I'm just looking at this asset because it doesn't say that I need to have a road on this side, but you can see that there's no way to access any of this, well, I guess through the side here. Never mind. Let's shorten this road to have it end at about that location. I like that. That's good. So we've got our shipyard. We have our modular house factory. So the shipyard, I think we might just take this road and allow people to go straight past this facility. This is an arterial, so this is a little bit of a strange configuration. Yeah, no, we can't do that. Okay, just to solidify the prioritization on this route, I am going to make this a highway. And that should add a point of emphasis that if you are coming down this road, you are coming down because this is the through movement and this is the highway. You're not going to cut through the shipyard. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, so the added bonus of this is it's going to really speed materials through this area, which is going to be really important if we want to make sure that our warehouses do not end up empty. So, I do want to play with the grades a little bit here. This is pretty ugly, and it's going to kind of remain ugly. But we can soften it a bit. That would be totally rational in my mind. Not just rational, I think it would be absolutely mandatory. Okay, I basically ended up going back to exactly as it was, which was not great in my mind, but we're going to deal with it because I want to get onto bigger and better things, and that is the factories. So we now need a plain timber, plastics, glass, metals, and a finished goods warehouse. So a lot that we need to have in this area. So let's build some warehouses. So I like these warehouse yards for timber. Let's take a look too. We do have some materials over here. That's just ore storage. Ore, metals, glass. So yeah, we'll have one of each over here. Let's make sure we don't have anarchy on. So we know we need timber, plastics, glass, and metals. So why don't we just put them in that order? And then we'll add one more facility, a large or a medium. No, we're not going to add a medium warehouse. A medium warehouse over here just to have the unique factory materials, or unique factory production. Okay, so this should be working if we get some water there. I guess and power. Both of those are helpful. We probably should fix up the water pipes here as well. That's super realistic for me to do that. That's okay. And now we have power and water to the industry areas. We should be good to go. All right. So they're waiting for materials. I want these to be full so that we make sure we have those materials ready for the factory. And we'll set this to empty because I want this to kick out those unique factory materials as quickly as possible. All right, so we're good there. Now we have basically the exact same need over here. The only one that we're missing is plastics. I don't think that, oh, no, we have plastics over here. So these actually have a lot of good, it's a good mix. So we're gonna have them transport that over here. I think we're gonna be fine with that solution. I do think it would be important to have another warehouse though, so I'm gonna add that over here as well. So I think ideally this warehouse would be located in close proximity to the factory in an area where maybe you don't have to actually leave this local road. So I'm going to have two small warehouses there. I don't love that they're the same. I know that it functionally doesn't make a difference. So why not just make it look a little bit different? We'll have our unique products right here. And again, set these to empty because I want these to empty out as quickly as possible. So there we are with these couple of buildings. I do think it'd be nice to get some landscaping around there. So same thing over here. I think it would be great to get a row of landscaping kind of along this main collector, or this main arterial. And then maybe some smaller landscaping on the side, or on the inside. Okay, and you see that these are filling up with materials. We've got trucks going in here. We've got production ongoing. We're making some money. Same thing over here. They're taking all the materials from over here and transporting it over to this factory. We've got this emptying. and we should start making some decent money from these buildings. So I'm pretty pleased with how those turned out. I'm going to take one more look. We might create one more factory. I do think that we're running out of time a little bit here as we put down some of those other issues that we had. But that's okay. That's the way the game works, and I love that about it. Just one of those things where you can kind of just sink in, and there's always something to do. I love that. So the car factory is the only other factory that would make sense over here. It is massive. And truthfully, I think that if you're going to place a car factory, I'd want to have a great view of it from the highway. You know, like whenever I've gone past the car factory, that's the one thing they prioritize is easy access to the interstate and a great view of it. Because they want to show off. I mean, it's a car. Why wouldn't you want to show the cars that you're producing, these shiny new cars here? So I think that we're going to have a road that parallels this train track. And then we'll bring this up and tee into this existing local road. So we've got a place for some of our building materials across the road and a nice big place for our factory. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of grading to fix this up because it is a little bit ugly on the sides. Okay, that is really good. So we are missing animal products, and I think that's leather for the seats. So we're going to add animal products, and then we're going to have a really big warehouse over here because that's the other thing that I think would make a ton of sense for this type of user. Oh, let's see if there's any place where we can sneak this in. We might actually want to move this factory back a little bit. I was hoping I could get it here, but it looks like I did not leave myself enough space. I wonder. Okay, this should do the trick. I just wanted to make sure that we have plenty of space. I need to quit talking. Okay, now we have plenty of space. And this will allow us to kind of sweep this through here, have nice sweeping turns into the factory, which is going to be important to keep the freight speeds moving quickly. And then we need an animal products facility as well. We're going to keep that covered. It's leather after all. Scoot that over just a little bit and get this away. Give a little bit more space, so we will have animal products here. We'll keep that to fill. We'll have, again, the finished unique factory products set to empty. And we should have everything that we need to get this going. So I think there's a case that could be made now to add, plastics, potentially. Ooh, broke the power. And our water pipes are now going through this building, so that is not ideal. Let's get that fixed too. I'm gonna call that not good enough. Not good enough. Can't do it. I'll leave that as good enough. So there probably is a good case that could be made to. Well, actually, this plastics factory is, or this plastics warehouse is full. So is the timber. We're actually in a pretty good spot with all of these materials. And traffic doesn't seem to be a concern, so I think we're probably okay. I would say there's a good case to make this a roundabout. At some point in the future, most likely. But traffic seems to be flowing okay through here. If anything, this is more of the issue, this interchange. But it's not that big of a deal. Traffic is flowing over here. I'm happy. So I only got to 3 factories, but I put down some traffic problems, and I took care of Deathcare, which was a surprise. Now we only have 200 dead people. It's a lot better than almost 700. So this is still an issue. I'm going to need to rely on someone else to fix this because I think my time is up. And this is our final round, so this is the last you'll hear from me. So I really appreciate being invited to work on this project. It's been a lot of fun. This city is thriving and looking really good. I think that there are things that we could do to improve this, but if this is it, I'm happy. I'm pretty happy with how this has turned out. We've got a thriving city. Always places that we can make improvements, but I think it's pretty darn good. So, one of the improvements that could be made, landscaping around here. Didn't get to that. If anyone else wants to, they're more than welcome. So, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for joining us in this series in general. Biffa's up next after me. If you enjoyed watching me take part in this build, check out my channel. It's worthwhile, I think. I do a lot of neat builds just like this one. I also make tutorials from time to time, and I talk a lot about urban planning. So thank you so much. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you are not subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. And please consider subscribing to all of the creators involved with this project. We're all doing interesting things. I also want to give a huge shout out to my Patreon supporters. Their support makes a lot of what I'm doing possible, and I really, really, really appreciate it. I am going to leave you with a brief city tour like I normally do, and we'll do an overview of the city, take a look at all of the things that we've changed, and just the city in general. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.